Taurus, welcome to your weekly Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is for November 28th through the 4th of December 2016. I'm Athen, and this channel is about using the actual constellations in the sky, known as Sidereal Astrology. If you are new to the channel, be sure to check out the link down below because the signs are different, which means your sign might be different, and you'll want to watch this for the right sign. All right, so Taurus, this week we have another eventful week in November going into December, which is a new moon kicking off the week. So some new beginnings here around Tuesday, and this is going to be facilitating relationships for you. This has already been a serious area, I think, with Saturn, so it's been good for you to take the serious, slow and steady approach to relationships, right? So this can take different forms for each of you. For some of you, it might have more to do with clients or business relationships, others spouse or romantic relationships, and others just generally, interaction. And I think all of you, to a degree, just generally interacting with others. Having this more patient and persistent approach to that in whatever fashion, I think has been very significant, very important. And that's really what Saturn's helping you build, is long-term relationships, long-term things that really are deep, really matter. That's the Scorpio and Ophiuchus side to it. So they're raw, they're real, and they're based on, things that are solid. So with the new moon, there is some new things shaping up, and I think as you pay attention this week, you'll probably notice that. It is a fantastic week for setting any new intentions regarding relationships. Could be short-term things for the next 30 days, but also long-term things for the next year. This is the yearly cycle as well with new beginnings there. Now, to facilitate all that, the new moon is squaring up to that Neptune South Node conjunction we've had for the past couple weeks, which is suggesting that there has been this importance of you guys bringing balance back to your whole career or productive life. Okay, that's what I've been talking a lot about these past 2 weeks. Making that change, because the new moon squaring up to that does suggest that there might be some balance needed, there might be some change needed, and I think constructively implementing and continuing with the change in your life so there is more balance with the career, more balance with the productive life. And so you can facilitate the time right now, which is really trying to get you into the personal side of life, which is the North Node and the Fourth. For some of you, it's home family. For others, it's merely personal connections. And I think that's a great way of working with it, because again, this is the fourth house coming into the seventh, personal coming into the relationship. So whatever that is, I think it's a great week to challenge yourself with that. But all in all, just see where things take you and set any new intentions there with the whole relationship sector. Now, right around that same time, Mercury is going to be going into your 8th house. So I think there is this deeper perspective coming about. And so with relationships, of course, the next level with that is that vulnerability. Now, Mercury doesn't specifically rule your 7th house, but I think that's a really good way of working with it, really getting vulnerable, open. In fact, this is really nothing new. You've had your ruler in the 8th house already for the past few weeks. So I think you've already become quite acclimated with all of this, this vulnerability with life, essentially. And so now with Mercury, you could just be maybe communicating things on a deeper level, seeing things on a deeper level, and again, accessing what truly matters most in life. Now, Mercury does rule the 5th, so yeah, it's maybe quite specifically having to do with your self-expression. In fact, there is a lot of positive energy for that self-expression with Jupiter in the 5th. But Mercury also does rule your 2nd house, so maybe when it comes to the financial material stuff, maybe it's a good time to do some research with that, maybe some change with those things, and maybe even cultivate a bit of healthy interdependency. That can sometimes be the case. Others' resources, sharing, that type of trust. So that's on the material realm for you as well. But most fundamentally, your mind getting into the deeper side of things. And I do apologize for that weed whacker. Hopefully it doesn't get too loud in this recording. All right, so that's Mercury. Now, around the same time, Tuesday and Wednesday, Venus, your ruler, is going to be squaring up to Uranus and sextiling up to Chiron. Okay, so with this one, particularly your ruler squaring Uranus, if you're feeling around Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe a bit impulsive, maybe like breaking free, breaking through, something like that. It's very important to, I think, take a step back, be aware, bring some conscious attention to the self. It might have to do with the routine, might have to do with the work, something like that. All right. Sometimes even too with Uranus, it can be something out of, external, something coming out of outside of us that's, high frequency or moving very quick, or there's a lot coming at us or something like that. But if it's internal as well, just kind of taking a step back, being aware of it, and listening, because Uranus, is a manifestation of what you might consider our higher self. It's a very outward planet. It has to do with freedom and individuality, being who we truly are. So listening to that, listening if there's any inclination, any indication of freedom, okay, but implementing it nice and slow, nice and steady with awareness, right? Just to make sure we're not doing anything rash or impulsive, which can sometimes be the impulse with the square up to Uranus. And it might have to do with aspirations, okay? It might have to do with future things. It might have to do with group things, community things, for some of you, networks and friends, just to give you a bit of a heads up on that, or technology even. Okay, these are all 11th house matters. But I think most fundamentally, if you're feeling like breaking free, if there's any individualism, there's any freedom that you're seeking, listen to that and implement it nice and slow and steady with conscious awareness. And again, could be specifically with the routine there. And with that, I think there is some healing. In fact, with that square, the sextile from Chiron does suggest that you could be feeling quite rejuvenated these first few days of the week as you heal those wounds. Okay, because I think naturally with all this deeper stuff, there might be some healing that could be very positive with that. Now, that's pretty much the first half of the week. And then as we get into about midweek, Chiron starts to go station direct, which is very nice. So a lot of the healing does start to move forward. I think you'll probably notice that you are feeling a bit refreshed, a bit rejuvenated about your aspirations, about what you can cultivate in your life, and also too about the network circles and friends and community. It really is a time of healing wounds with that. That can be a very positive force this week. So you'll probably notice things are definitely moving forward in this department, both with the aspirations and the group stuff. Now, the most important transit this week, equally as important to the Venus, because Venus is your ruler, but very important here, Mars is trining up to Jupiter. Okay, so this is collectively significant. It's involving two moderately slow-moving planets, which does suggest something broad, something generally shifting and changing in our life. And so, first of all, this has been Mars in your 9th house. Wow, that's really loud. Mars in your 9th house, which is helping you really expand your horizons and really tap into the adventurous spirits of life. So I think listening to that, in fact, it's been that way. Mars in your 9th house, helping you open your horizons, helping you cultivate these belief systems, these inspirations of yours. And that could be very motivating. A trine from Jupiter really emphasizes that. So if you're feeling like anything like philosophy, higher learning, spirituality, maybe going for hikes or walks or travel even for some of you, maybe there's something positive. And with Jupiter trining Mars, sometimes, with Jupiter in general, sometimes it can be a bit easy and we can rest on our laurels. So it's important that we listen to the inspiration, but we do cultivate that motivation nonetheless. This whole second half of the week pretty much with this aspect just really facilitates action, motivation, inspiration, but actually moving that stuff forward. Now, Mars does rule a couple other key areas for you, also relationships, maybe something positive, something supportive about the whole relationship department, and maybe even too, getting a bit of the rest and relaxation, a bit of that easygoing energy can also be very tranquil, very nice as well. Now, Mars sextiles up to Saturn going into the weekend here around Saturday. So again, positive support for all this. And again, from the relationship department, interestingly enough. And again, this is where the new beginnings are. So something's definitely shifting this week with all this relationship, interpersonal stuff. And you'll notice that this first half of the week, it just slowly starts to get moving. There is some things that are transforming, again, with Venus square Uranus, right? Listening to some freedom, maybe some shifts with some healing taking place, maybe some uncertainty and changes with the whole career stuff. But then as we get into the second half and we start to get into the early phases of the lunar cycle, there is this bit of inspiration, this bit of boost, and that can be a very positive support. Again, involving relationships, involving a bit of tranquility in your life, and expressing yourself too. Jupiter in the 5th house could be creative projects. And it's all stemming from this Mars in the 9th, which is really about changing your belief system, opening your horizons, maybe a bit of positive possibilities that can really go a long ways. All right, Taurus, I hope you guys have a fantastic week. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next week.